Hello, we're here for the Authentic You Power Talk. Vibe is an amazing community, and you will definitely meet up with a bunch of amazing coaches. But if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration, if you're looking to learn a little bit, gain some, I call them wisdom nuggets, so you can go home and you can be like, hey, maybe I can work with this one. That's exactly what we do here. So we share stories, we inspire each other. And remember, I am learning from you just as much as you're learning from me. There's a saying that the teacher will appear when is ready. And if you are in this room, there is a reason you're in a room like this, because we are going to be talking about you learning how to trust yourself on a much deeper level so you can be empowered. That's a big part of what I do, is help people feel empowered in their life so they can show up better and do the things that they truly desire. So I already have people showing up in the queue, which is super exciting. But before I get anyone on the stage, I just want to do a little bit of an introduction. But even before we do that, I always like to welcome people into the space. I think it's always great to get us going. So first I will say hi, Donna, Kirk, Elizabeth, Cheryl, Jamie, Kim, Lori, Louise, Shelley, Michelle, Tiffany, Ashley. Oh, Julie's here. Hey, Julie, Rachel, Leslie, Valerie, Lisa, Julie, Dee, Nicole, Stephanie. I can't even get to all of these today. Tamara and Tiara. I just want to say welcome. If I haven't gotten to you as of yet, don't worry. I call out every show. I always call out, and maybe you will get your name called. It's very nostalgic for me. For those who know why, it'll show my age. It's when we were younger, there was a show called Romper Room. And when we were little, at least my family, we would sit in front of that TV and just hope that they would call our name when they looked through that magic mirror. And I feel like that's what I'm doing here, which just makes me smile every single time, just to invite you guys in, know that you are a part of this beautiful process. And today we are going to talk about the beauty of trusting yourself. Because when you do, you start really unlocking these gifts. And I say it's your inner compass on a much deeper level than you could have ever imagined. There is potential in you right now to soar. You don't even know what that looks like as of yet. But if you learn how to trust yourself, then we can go beyond what the physical eye will see. You can exceed and go exactly where you need to go. So I'm just really excited to talk about this today. But before I get into it, I guess now I'll do the introductions. My name is Kristina Holle. I am the founder of the Authentic You Coaching. I help people, women, entrepreneurs, executives worldwide, and I help them connect to their higher side, and so they can live a more fulfilled and purposeful life. We have so much potential in us that we have not tapped in. So that's what we talk about here. And if you're inspired, or if there's something that really speaks to you, please come up to the stage. Like I said, we all learn from each other. That's the beauty of this amazing community. And I have my dear friend Julie to kick off the show. So I just want to say welcome. Here comes Julie to the stage.
Just let me let the cat in. I am a cat's slave.
Oh,
there we go, let the cat in. So, let's start us off with that power inside, that trusting of some notions and feelings that we have, trusting them. So, I'm at this new sit with this gorgeous cat, such a lovely boy. And as we came in, the introductions were made, you know, where things are and things like this. And then we got to the boiler room. The boiler that is temperamental at the moment, but we have got a plumber coming out to have a look. And my intuition immediately gave me a tap inside about that boiler.
Tell me.
What it said to me was, I'd rather function in this house for a short time until that boiler is fixed. I'd rather turn it off and not use it at all.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, this is what is calling me. My intuition, that feeling, little poke that we
gotta
get.
Listen.
The one that we normally go, don't be silly. which is where the power of trusting yourself comes in, right? Because when you get those thoughts and feelings, you don't have to be alarmed by them, which is what a lot of us do. If we get like a little poke inside, we go, oh, are we not being a little bit dramatic there? Are we not making a big issue out of this? Just squash that thought back down, squash that feeling back down and ignore it. That's what we always do. Anyway, the plumber came out today and he started doing his work, and we couldn't get into the garage because the person we were sitting for has locked certain places off, which is fine. That's our prerogative to do that. And we're happy with it. We don't mind at all, except we couldn't get in to see the flue of this boiler because it's in the garage and there's no keys. That's fine. We deal with that. The plumber goes out and he does what he can do. There's a few things that he knows from it, his competency, that he's looking for. There's some clues. He says, I don't like the look of that. And again, my little inner self is going, I told you.
You're like, yes,
And then he goes, I said, can we still use the boiler? Should we carry on doing what we've been instructed to do by the owner? And he said, oh, you can. And my little insides were poking me and going, no, you can't do that. You know what you said at the very beginning, don't you? Yes, I do. So I flush it back down again. And then he goes out, and 10 minutes he comes back in and he says, I've got to put a sticker on your boiler, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to cap it off. It's unsafe. It can't be used.
Wow.
It has excess CO2 inside the boiler unit. Luckily for you, the seals are good, but because of this, other things will happen, and so it's got to be closed off. I knew this last week. I knew this when I stepped in and people were tweaking. As soon as I noticed, oh, it's a bit temperamental. For me, that would be get the plumber out today and see why it's temperamental. Don't play with it until it's to the point of, it's like putting your finger in the damn hole, if you like. All right, this is how it is. So trusting yourself, that power of your intuition is a phenomenal thing to do. It is the ether, that everything is caring for you because you are connected to it all. And it's a connection that has over civilization been quelled and squashed and ignored. But I'm telling you, when I stepped into this house, I knew I shouldn't be touching that boiler and it should be switched off. 5 days later, the sticker goes on. My trust myself. Yes, I did. But I didn't enough to not use it. Luckily for me, the ether was caring for me. But trusting yourself, that little poke inside can mean so much.
Oh, Julie, look at that. That is right there. That is a beautiful example of a life lesson. That inner knowing. We all get those little nudges. Do you listen to those nudges? That's a whole other thing. And we'll talk about that today. Because some of us have been so, and when I say some of us, it's including myself, but now I just don't do it anymore. I just trust on something so much deeper. And just like Julie, others, if she was with other people, others may have gone around and said, oh, Julie, why are you just saying that? We're cold. We're going to need to turn on the boiler. We're going to make sure. But Julie, this is why the work of the work is so important and why we spend time in my program to really help you understand trusting in yourself is the most valuable tool. But you have to be able to have courageous conversations to be able to go, no, I'm good here. No, I'm going to listen to me right now. Now that you got to be pretty bold to do that. That's why all the work around authenticity, being aligned in your truth, knowing who you are, being grounded is the game changer. So you can have those conversations. And here's the thing, as you start to trust yourself, it gets louder. So in this example, so Julie, thank you for sharing. I'm expecting I'll hear other examples throughout the day, but I think what's really powerful, it's not about the boiler. It's an anomaly about life. It's if you are having a feeling not to tamper with something, don't tamper. Step back, pause, start to listen to yourself and ask yourself why. You may not know what it is as of yet, but the answer will come. At least even for me, I've had situations where I've been caught off and I was like, oh my goodness, why is this happening? And the answer will come 2 years later. I always know, I trust the answer always does come. And it really did. I had a feeling, I can't believe I'm sharing this, but hey, in this space, this is the real deal and it's important. There was a guy that I was dating back in the day when I was in my 20s. And I just had a feeling something seemed a little bit off. Something seemed, his stories weren't lining up, things seemed weird. And I confronted him based on my intuition. I was like, something's off here. And then I had the conversation that went along with it on the receiving end, where crazy making, where no, that's all you. I can't believe you would think that. I was not here because of this situation. I had to help this person who got hit by a car. And I'm like, oh, cool, no problem. But my intuition kept nudging and saying there's more and there's more. And 2 years later, I was at a random party and this girl comes up to me and we're just chatting. And she goes, oh, you dated so and so? Yes. She goes, oh, it's so crazy. He was so romantic. I got hit by a car and then he pulled me into the house. And then we dated. And I was like, what? That was the answer that came 2 years later at a party. The universe wanted me to have that answer, trusting my intuition that I was correct. He was cheating on me with this other girl that he was denying and didn't say. So I'm using that example, so random that came up in my head, but I've been called to share that because the point is, yes, Julie got the answer in a week. That the other answer came to me in 2 years. But what the bigger picture is, when you trust yourself, and I was in my 20s, I didn't really understand this whole intuition thing. But I got to the point where I always knew the answers would come to me eventually. And when they come, they're loud and clear. And it's usually because it puts you on track. It reminds you, it's almost like I always say, it's like the universe knocking or a higher power knocking and saying, hey, thank you for listening to your intuition. I didn't date the guy. I broke up with the guy and I met my wonderful husband. Now, let's play it through, if I kept listening to other people telling me stories about, oh, no, he's such a great guy, this doesn't seem right, you could waste all this time because you're listening to other people, you're giving your power away. So it's interesting because if anything, we should be learning the power of trusting ourselves. This should be taught to children, not the idea. What mathematics is definitely important. There's all this mind work that's important, but this is the power of the heart, the power of really having confidence in who you are. So you don't put yourself in poor situations. A lot of times poor situations happen, and I don't know if this resonates with anyone that's listening. It happens because we didn't listen to ourselves. There's always a little inner nudge. It's funny because I had a client that I was dealing with yesterday, and we were talking about this person is in a situation right now. And I'm like, all right, no problem. But I'm so proud of her growth because she's like, oh, but this is the situation. This is how I'm going to work through it. This is what I'm doing. That is fabulous. But I said, where were the red flags? And what can we learn from these red flags? Because if you are not learning from those situations where you weren't listening to your intuition, then you could be missing. So that we had a whole activity around it. But I think it's so powerful when you understand. It just is. Hey, Julie.
Hey, I just wanted to say something about intuition as well. It is that inner nudge, but you'll find there's an absolute thing missing from it. And that inner nudge does not play with your emotions. They're absolutely separate. So if you have intuition, i.e. not to touch the boiler, that is not about safety, really. And it didn't affect my emotions. It didn't give me fear and it didn't give me anxiety either. The feeling of don't touch the boiler as an intuitive thing was just clear, translucent, and just with no feeling attached, it was just as clear as day. And in the example that you gave, you had the intuition, but you didn't have the, oh, poor me, or oh dear, any of that. It's just so clear and free of the feeling, the emotion side. That, or you could go through all the emotions, i.e., anger, jealousy, love. None of those things apply when you feel this nudge. It's just a clarity. It's totally separate from the colours and hues that we can give to a situation. It's just clear. This is the thing about it. And I think that's where we've kind of have a problem trying to recognise it within ourselves. Being able to recognise it and trying to find, which is very difficult, the words to describe it in a way. It's not a push it's not a desire thing. It's not a want, it's not a need. It's just like a light bulb going off in your heart, which is separate to your
That's a great way to put it.
And it's as clear as day, and it does not need any emotion in it at all. It's so clear. That's very interesting. I don't know, it's so hard to describe it, but the one thing I would say is it's not usually driven to emotion. When you have that intuition, it's almost the same as me crossing the road. I was talking to Penny this morning and finding a fiver, and it's the exact place that I was crossing this busy road when there was a pedestrian crossing down that end and there was a crossing point at the other. But my intuition just went, cross here. It's that fast, and there I find a fiver, which is great.
Definitely. I think that what you're saying is really important to share with the audience for people to reflect on this. There's no coincidences, right? So my daughter asked yesterday, and she's 12, and she's like, Mommy, when I hear the voice in my head, because I'm teaching her at a very young age to trust her intuition. I always say, when stuff happens, what's your inside voice say? Instead of looking for external validation, we're training them young. And she's like, well, this voice is kind of mean, but your intuition will not be mean. If you're hearing a mean voice or someone who is being judgmental or harsh or critical, that is not your intuition. That is your inner critic, I would say. So,
it comes from absolutely nowhere, and it's not always a voice. It's almost like a stop point in time is the best way to describe it. It's suddenly awareness.
Well, and you could say, it's interesting because I didn't think I was going to speak about this, but it can happen at the most, no, it's excellent. It's natural flow. It can happen at the most inopportune times. It could be when you're in the shower. Could be, I have a neighbor that we were talking about it. It's when she gardens, she goes into this different state. Your intuition it's a beautiful, I just got it right now. It's like a wave, a little whisper. It's a wave that comes in. It's Julie, you can come back if you like, but I think it's really important what Julie said, because your intuition isn't necessarily being charged by emotion. It's just a deeper whisper. It's an insight. It's, hey, what about this? Or I should go here, or I should do this. And when we do that, apologies. So when we do that, when we really understand that whisper, let's go back to that whisper. The whisper will bring up a fresh idea, something that might seem totally random. Go talk to this person, go to the library, go to this store. And your logical mind would love to go, why would you go to the store? You don't need to get groceries. Why would you do that? But when we learn to trust ourselves from a solid place, and this is why this is the work that I really help people do is understanding who you are. You have to go through the darkness in order to really stand firm in who you are. It's understanding your shadows and loving all of it. Because when you are trusting that, so you get the wave of the whisper, you know that you're supposed to go. It may not make sense, but you'll go. And I have so many examples, and I know people in the audience would too, where you're like, I'm going to go to the train station. And then you go, and then you meet this person who opens up a new business opportunity or introduces you to their friend who ends up becoming your best friend. It is one of the most beautiful things to trust when you learn to trust in who you are and the intuition that comes through. It is the most reliable guide that you possibly can have. And when we understand that, it changes everything. Here comes Julie. Let's see what Julie has to say. Hi.
Hello. The other thing I was going to say is that intuition is like an inside invite to an experience. And because we don't know what that is, that's where the trust comes in. Mm-hmm. So going to the train station, I'll go to the train station and I'll meet this person. And we have no idea experiences are going to bring, but they are on our path because that intuition is like the good footwear, if you like.
The good footwear, I love that.
So you've got your intuition shoes on and it's going to carry you comfortably through the experiences that are yours to be had. And I think it's that kind of trust. It's just amazing. I've had that so many times. Look at my life, really, that
yes.
I live. You've known me for quite a long time now, Kristina, and you met me in the chip shop when I followed intuition.
That's so true.
It kind of encouraged me to meet people. It is not necessarily taking the chips over and feeling really good about myself, but that also helps. It was about walking into a crowded space of people expectant and being able to receive an experience where I was important to these people, but I wasn't at the same time. And it's a crowd. I could choose whether I spoke to them or not. I just go in, drop the stuff off and leave.
Right.
Or there was an experience to be had there by doing that. And it was up to me then with my skills to step on in and kind of help myself, if you like. But I think that's what intuition is. It's a way of encouraging you with your own skill set. It encourages you to say, this is an experience that you can really play with all of those skills and attributes in yourself. You can you can test your own empowerment, if you like, your own authenticity, your own self in each situation and see what there is for you there, how you can play with it and enjoy it. But I definitely think intuition and being able to trust that it is the key guide to the experiences that are meant for you. And that's where it comes up with the ideas, sudden epiphanies, the feelings, if you like, because as much as I say there's not jealousy, anger, love and things involved, intuition has a clarity feeling about it, a sudden spring of force, if you like. And it's there to invite you to experience something. And that's it. I'm all talked out now.
No, it's beautifully said. And I think it's good for people to listen and understand that those little nudges, those little ideas that you have in your head, they're not just ideas, they're waves, right? They literally can
They're energy,
right? And when that comes in, it's whether or not you're going to answer the call, whether or not you're open enough to go, I will go to the train station and I'll grab a coffee there and we'll see.
I just wanted to, before I go, Kristina, just borrow a moment for me.
Sure.
My picture there, I have a cow phobia. And my daughter found a picture of these cows and they were watching this dog with their dog walking on the canal side there. And they were listening to the dog was barking and the cows leant over the top of the bridge, as you can see, to see what was going on.
Oh,
And I said
cute.
to my daughter, I said, that's a bridge I'll cross when I come to it.
Is there all cows across the top?
Yeah, that's the little faces are all
Oh,
so
that
lovely. I
is
thought,
adorable. I never
I'll
even
pop that
noticed
on.
that. That's
Yeah.
great.
So that's me facing my fears.
Every
Yeah.
day. I love it.
And seeing there's nothing to be fearful of. I'm the one creating that story. So
Right.
anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you.
Much love to you. Thank you, Julie, for sharing. I think that the insights are so invaluable. We're all learning from each other. And when we understand that, it's actually so powerful. And I follow my intuition with based on the topics that I'm supposed to speak about. I really understand the power of trusting. It's when you get to the point where you start shifting away from social media, you're shifting from books or people to tell you who you are. It's one thing to get insights and have extra advice if you're looking for it, but come from a place of wholeness. Because when you do, I always say it's the addition on the house. The house is already firmly built. And because I really want you, when I started to go on my journey, I am tapped in, tuned in all the way now. I didn't know that I had that capability until I started to fully integrate myself. Now, when I shared the story of my relationship when I was in my 20s, I was using intuition, but not really realizing I was using intuition. But now that I really trust that process, you can make big leaps now because you know that you will be in a good spot when you come out on the other end. So I will put that out there. When we think about big change in our life and we get scared, many of us get scared when we are changing or we want different things in our life. And when we do that, we could paralyze ourselves. But if we trust ourselves in a way that we know that we can land back on our feet, we can create the life that we desire, we trust in something bigger than us, that this is purpose led and that you are being shown the way. You may not see it at the time. It is where the real magic begins. And in order to get to that point, you have to be able to surrender. You have to be able to let go a little bit of the old way of seeing things. I'm asking you to explore a little bit more about who you are. What does that wave of the whisper? When do you use your intuition? Have you used your intuition? And if you're hesitating, why have you stopped? When we use our intuition, we are asking ourselves to quiet the noise of the world around us and be able to listen to that whisper. And the irony of it is that I know I've experienced this. Sometimes that whisper gets and louder and will flip you right upside down and put you down a path that you may not want to go down because you're not meant to be there. So I had a client who had to claim bankruptcy because she didn't listen to the red flags beforehand. And we were working through that without judgment. It's just about learning the process. Because if you learned how to listen to the voices before, you may not have gotten into the business deal with that person. You may not have followed through on this great deal to invest in. This is the goal. The goal is for you to trust yourself and not talk yourself out of situations. I know it's actually kind of funny. In my career, I had a person on my team. Something just didn't feel right. This person was always caught up in drama, talking poorly about other people. There was always something. And I had another person say, well, you're being too hard on her. You don't really know her. She's this Y and Z. But like I said, 6 months down the road, I was completely bang on about that individual because they were trying to sabotage situations at work in order for them to excel. Unfortunately, sometimes work situations can get a little bit complex. But the point of me sharing that story is that I knew it. I just had this gift. And I think many of us have it if you allow yourself to listen right away. This person's for me, this person's not for me. And when I listen to other people, oh no, you're overreacting, you're doing this, you're doing that, that actually changed. I was like, okay, because I wasn't solid in who I was, to be honest. I should have said, no, I'm clear, but I wasn't there yet. My growth hadn't happened yet. But now I see it. I knew it right away. And this is about standing in your power and be like, no, because every time I had that feeling and I don't listen to it, I always end up 6 months down the road back at the same spot saying, why didn't I listen? And now I don't do that anymore. And I think that there isn't anything more powerful than trusting yourself to that degree. Now I ask the group, I want you to reflect right now. I want you to think about, have you ever had a time where you had to trust on a deeper level? You have no idea what's in front of you. No idea. You got to take a leap. You got to trust. Is this going to work? Is it not? We don't know. Have you been in that situation where you trusted yourself at that level and you had to move on? So I will use this analogy, and this literally happened to me. It's happened to me multiple times. But there was a person that was around me that was extremely toxic. And this was probably, I don't know, maybe about 10 years ago. And this person at the beginning really showed up as, oh, my best friend, so nice, everything was great. Because of my intuition, things started to unfold. And then I started to realize this person was not who I thought this person was going to be. But they had gotten so linked into everything that I did that it was very hard for me to release. And I'll take it to the next level. I'm sharing with you a little TMI, but I get dreams and sometimes I get premonitions in dreams. And I had a dream where I heard loud and clear, beware of needy energy. And there was a whole visual about this person. And I was like, that was 2 years. Sometimes my dreams are 2 years out. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. I laughed it off. And when this went down, and I really found out how dangerous this person really was, it was almost like, I don't know if you guys know the movie Single White Female. It got to that point, really obsessive behaviors. And I had to cut this person loose. And I had to almost cause myself pain in order to set myself free. And in order to do that, it was substantial. It was necessary. So I had to trust my intuition. I didn't know what it was going to look like on the other side, but I chose me instead of this other person. And I had to cut myself free. And because I did that, now I'm on this whole other path. I'm here with you. It's beautiful. But it's extremely powerful because that's why it's so important to be grounded in your truth, grounded in who you are, so you don't put yourself in vulnerable situations. But my intuition told me 2 years earlier, and I didn't listen. My ego was like, oh, this person's so nice. This person's telling me I'm amazing, that I'm a rock star, basically all this great stuff. But because I had wounds that were not healed, this is why we do the work we do, guys, is that made me very vulnerable. And it took me away from trusting myself. And I was looking for other people to tell me that I was amazing. The reality is we're all amazing. We've gone through this process before, and we know that. So when we understand that piece of it, I want you to reflect on that. We have all had situations, maybe some more than others, where we have to listen to your intuition. Hopefully you don't wait 2 years out before it kicks in. Now, I would never wait 2 years out now because of the learning. I'm just so grateful for the learning and that I got to set myself free. But we all have this extreme power where we can do that. We can set ourselves free and we don't need to be locked in. But not listening, don't fool yourself to think that your intuition isn't talking to you. The red flags aren't there. It's about whether or not you are grounded and coming from a place of truth and trusting yourself that you actually see it. That is what I will leave you with right now. Now I've got Mojo coming up, and then I have Dr. Rao in the queue. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, well, how are you doing?
I'm good.
You're dropping truth bombs every other sentence. Boom.
I feel like I'm like just woo on fire right now.
My word, you are tapped in, baby. So good. And of course, I see and feel every parallel in your journey with my own. Just this interplay between, I use the words content and context. So your content is applicable, even though your context is different. We live a different life. You're male, or are you female, I'm male, etc. There's lots of differences, but the principles and the growth and the truth bombs, they're applicable to many of us if we so choose, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the things that you say often, and I agree with, but many people, including me, my younger self, didn't believe to be true, is that I have the power to do this, right? I thought I had to go get the power. I had to earn the power. I had to borrow somebody else's power, right? I didn't believe I had the power to, in fact, so you use truth and trust. So the truth is, I didn't believe myself enough to trust myself. So truth and trust. The truth was in me, but I didn't trust myself to be tapped into the truth. So I was looking for validation. Is that right? Am I off? Am I on? Maybe this person knows more than I do. Maybe I should trust them instead of me, right? And I got myself in so much trouble and so much pain. So much.
Oh man.
Way too much.
So true.
And yet, looking back now, as much as I wish, there's part of me that wishes I would have trusted that truth inside of me that was telling me, hey, danger, right? Run away. Don't allow this to happen. Because I didn't, there's lots of collateral damage. And yet, here I am talking to you about it, which I wouldn't be doing if I didn't learn the lesson, right? Sometimes I can't learn the lesson. Some of us humans can't learn the lesson any other way than by doing it wrong a few times. Then it starts to sink in, oh, maybe there's a better way, because this way is not working. Oh God, this way isn't working, right?
Well, and I think that there's something to those situations. I see it so clearly now that the ego steps in and wants to protect you. And, oh, I have all my stuff together. No one can bamboozle me. I know everything. But you're blind to your wounds. You're blind to your weak spots. And people that want to manipulate will see those weak spots.
Oh, big time. It's magnetizing. So we often talk about in this space how tracks. Truth is, in reality, sometimes opposites attract. And so in my most weakest and vulnerable spots, ages 11 to 15, when I got my spirit got crushed by evil people, my counselor in retrospect said, well, of course, Joe, because you were the wounded sheep in the herd that kind of wandered off on your own, and you were lost, you were wounded. And so the wolves, that's what they're looking for. The wolves don't want to fight somebody that's as strong as them. They want to find the victim. I was full on victim mode, and I became just low-hanging fruit for evil intended people. And so it wasn't that actually tracks the opposite sometimes. And I have to be aware of that, right? Fully aware of that. So truth and trust. Go ahead.
And I think there's something to that, though. To me, I didn't see any of it. I was so blind because my ego was so inflated as a survival mechanism. You said something like this. You think I'm great? Really? You see me? Oh my gosh, you see me? Watch out. If I see you, right?
Exactly.
I fell right into it. But
totally.
not anymore.
No,
I really like that sheep analogy. I think that's a good one.
Well, it's
The
true.
wounded
So
sheep.
the wolf in one of my scenarios at age 15 was someone that I admired, I trusted, who said all of the things I wanted to hear. How great I was, how kind I was, how loving I was, how musical I was, how they were.
Come back up and finish. There's no one in the queue, Mojo. Come back and finish. You can't start that conversation and not finish it, but continue. I know where you're going. Saying all the things you might have needed to hear.
Talking about your ego being inflated, and my thought at the time was how deflated my ego was. So but this is both true. So my ego, from my perspective, was deflated. I was empty. I was just dying for the attention, for a father figure, on and on it goes, for the affirmation, for some sense of that I'm okay. And ego was deflated and it was starving. And so then in person who's got ill intentions, but they're saying all the right things. And so they are, in essence, they are inflating my ego with all the stuff that I thought I needed and wanted. And so it was super powerful. It just attracted me right in and it filled me with hate, right? So as we're talking about this, the thought comes to me, if my ego is inflated by anyone else than me, then it's very vulnerable. It's like a balloon that can pop at any time. But
Mm-hmm.
is inflated with my understanding of self, the truth that is me, well, now it's not filled with hot air, it's filled with something solid, it's filled with truth. My ego, like a balloon, can inflate or deflate, but if I'm letting it be inflated by anything else other than the truth, then it's really vulnerable. But if it's inflated by truth, then it's solid. It cannot be popped easily.
And I think that I'm almost, I'm 48 now. And to be at that point where I'm like, it took me 30 years to really start this process.
Well, you're the lucky one.
Nor did I think of, right?
It took me
exactly.
40. It took me 40. So.
Yeah, okay. Well, and I think that this is a part of the beauty. Now that we see it on the other side, it's such an important information to be shared for people to understand. It is the most empowering place to be when you can trust yourself and know that you got this regardless.
Right. Yep, 100%. So 40 years for me to heal and get free of all that trauma. I liken it to a volcano. I lived in Hawaii for a while as an intern, and I got to go on a tour of a live active volcano where the lava was flowing.
Oh, fun.
And the guide told us all about how destructive lava is, and it devastates anything in its path. Nothing can stand up to lava. I mean, it is one of the most destructive forces on the planet. And then a few years later, I'm in Hawaii with my wife, and we're on this hike up on a dormant volcano, and it's lush, it's green, there's ferns and flowers, and the guide says, hey, by the way, these flowers that you're looking at, they don't grow anywhere else on the earth. They only grow on this slope of this particular volcano. And we said, why? He says, because lava in time becomes the most fertile, nutrient-rich soil on the planet. Oh. This is the only place these things can grow because it's the only place where there's the right nutrients. And my heart just jumped. Are you kidding me? Lava, which it was only destructive, destroyed everything in its path, becomes the most nutrient-rich soil on the planet. That's my life. That's my heart. Yes. My heart got destroyed by the lava, but in time, with faith, with healing, with friends, with love, that exact same destructive force now has created a heart in me that things grow that couldn't have grown otherwise. So I can actually, in a very profound way, be grateful, right, for the lava. Not at the time, but in retrospect.
Well, that's when the best learning happens, right? It's beautiful when you really understand this too shall pass. And when you start to really get through it and you see the beautiful flowers in your case that are unique to your story, it makes it worth it. And I would like to say, are you playing golf?
I am. Yep, you caught me.
I heard. I was like, "Oh my God!"
Right in the middle of my sentence.
It was pretty impressive. I was just like, "Did you guys think it?" I just swear he hit the ball.
I did. Yep,
so in tune. I love it.
So, and as you know, my favorite acronym is PLAY. I used to think that was a childish thing. It's not. It's a childlike thing. So I pretend, I laugh, I ask, I yield, play as often as
I love it. Mojo, it's still open if you want to finish that thought, and then it's up to you. If not, then just show me some love, and then I will continue the conversation. Okay. So I think that we're hearing beautiful examples of people learning to trust ourselves, right? So sometimes they're really big, where it's 2 years down the road as I hear stuff, but I'm getting better at being completely in tune for now. And just trusting yourself. It's a deeper knowing. It's beyond believing. You go from believing to knowing. This is when you really get well-versed in your intuition and trusting who you are, knowing that things are going to work out. So it was interesting because my previous talk was talking about conversations with our past selves. And the voice of myself listening to it, because it was on audio, and the questions that I had, there was a constant need to want more. Am I on the right track? Am I doing this right? And I find that fascinating because I can hear in that voice 5 years ago, no, it was 2015, so 10 years ago, I could hear that on the outside, I looked like I had it all together, but I didn't trust myself the same way that I do to this day. So it's so powerful when we understand that it's an evolution to start to trust yourself and grow into who you're supposed to be. Now, it's because you learn to trust, it's a level of courage. It's stepping into this other space and just listening to you. And it's showing you the unknown, even when you don't know what the unknown is. You have to be able to just trust. I want you to think about your life in particular. When have you had moments where you just trusted yourself? Maybe it was you didn't go on a date. Maybe you didn't take a business opportunity. Maybe you didn't collaborate with someone. And when that feeling came on, how did that work for you? It's important to understand that because that's how you're learning to use this muscle through baby steps. And I would ask, when you are in doubt, so like I said, with my daughter, which I thought was really interesting, one, it was an eye opener for me. A little 12-year-old, I'm driving her to school, and for her to ask me, Mom, is this voice intuition or is this voice, what is this voice? And she told me about the voice sounded like the inner critic. But I was so grateful that she's 12 and I can get to it now. I can start reprogramming that and helping her understand when we are in doubt. And this is for all of us. When we're in doubt, instead of being reactive, instead of going to the inner critic and getting yourself all worked up, just pause and listen and ask questions. What would you have me do? Simple. When we're scared, what does this mean? Where would you like me to be? How can I serve better? And you will get answers. And like I said before, there's different places, whatever it is for you. When I paint, there's tons of stuff that comes through. When I journal, tons. Shower, yes. I bet you Mojo when he's on the golf course. It's when you are in those places of quiet that you can just put the noise of outside away and start to listen. Now, it's really trusting the voice. So if it comes up and like Julie said, hey, don't no, there's something off with this boiler. She shared that the boiler was off. You'll have to listen to the beginning of the conversation to, if you know what I'm talking about. That is, she trusted herself enough to do it. And when we are doing that, we have to stand in our own conviction about it. And it's really, oh, that's actually really good. Mojo shared here. Sorry, I got sidetracked. His question is, what does love require? And that's how he starts connecting with his intuition. Mine is, what would it take to blank? And then usually answers will pop in. But I am very much a feeler. I can feel it. I feel there's different ways. We can talk about this another time, but there's different types of intuition. But right now, I just want you to start trusting yourself, trusting who you are, loving who you are. Because when you do that, the voices start to come in a very good way. Asking yourself, it could be simple as, what does my inner compass say? And you'll get answers. You can journal it. You can just go for a walk and ask yourself that question. If you are stuck in a situation, ask yourself that your intuition, your higher self, something bigger than you wants to help you. But many times we have not listened because we feel as though it doesn't make sense. People might laugh at us. Why would I do something like that? I want you to go the opposite. I'll give that a try. I'll go to the store. I'll call my old friend that I haven't talked to in ages, because it's all a part of a bigger path than we even realize. Patricia just said that the long walks really help her. There's a couple of pieces to that. One, you're in nature. So nature is always going to nurture that space. Water is really good, trees, even if you need grounding, take your shoes off, go stand in the grass. There's a different level. You start tuning in on a much deeper level because we're connected to something so much bigger. And the beauty of doing this work now, and I've said this multiple times, I'm very proud of everyone who has chosen to stay and listen, and that shows up for my shows and is connected to Noon Vibe. You know why? Because you're making a choice to be more conscious and aware about your life and really actively start to make choices to have a better life, the one that really gives you joy and happiness. And that happens through little baby steps, through little things like this, releasing toxic shame, starting to love yourself, starting to trust your intuition, using a different side of you that you may not have ever used before. But I'm so happy that I can be a part of one of the many to just start opening this door. I am here from a very real place. I believed all the other stuff. I did it. I got scholarships. I went all the way. I did it. And it is not the only way. The way I believe is for you to understand that you have so much power within you. And we are here merely as guides to help you access that. And when you can access that, it's not about me. I'm a mirror. I can help you because I've been there and I've been to all parts of it. All parts. I've been dark and I got out of the dark. And I've been corporate and then I got out of corporate. And in alignment with who I am. And what is beautiful about it, it's about putting this as baby steps for everyone to just be here. You chose to be here. You chose to listen to this. There must be something that's speaking to your soul right now, saying, I want to be able to trust myself more. I want to get rid of worry. I don't want to worry anymore. I don't want to have anxiety and I don't want to have self-doubt. I want to love myself. And I want these next chapters in my life to be fulfilled and joyful and have beautiful people in my life. Yes, I want this for you. That's why I show up. I have a commitment to you guys, whoever comes. And I have my regulars now, it fills my heart because I feel like we're getting to know each other. But I also have people that are walking in the door. But my commitment to you is that I show up for you. Because if you can walk away, if you show up for yourself, what you're doing, if you're listening to this straight through, there's knowledge bombs, there's wisdom bombs, there's self-love, there's all this great stuff for you. There's nothing more beautiful than that. My heart actually fills full for you. So it's really understanding that there is a community and a connection on a much deeper level. And when we understand that we are empowered, it's not just a token word that we throw around because we do that because it looks good. Hey, I'm an empowered female or I'm an empowered X whatever. I want you to really live and breathe it. And you will know. I feel like I'm in that space. It's coming. It feels like a fire hose, to be honest, because it is really powered as being emotionally powered. It's sitting there. The M is your emotions, loving all parts, being able to tap into intuition. Intuition is a higher level of your emotions. It's kind of like seeing what doesn't really exist. You're operating from a different place, but you're operating from your inner compass, but a place that you are grounded. You are worth it. You are 100% worth it. To trust yourself, trust yourself. That is the one person in the whole world that you should be trusting. And we're not going to allow ourselves to give our power away anymore. So I thank you guys for being here. I have Dr. Rao in queue now, so I'm going to see what Dr. Rao has to say. Hello.
Hi,
How's it going?
I am good. Kristina,
Oh, that is fabulous. Tell me more.
being stationed your authentic self is not through thought, though. That's where people get stuck.
I
And
agree.
see, I will quote you one great saying by a sage. He said, one's attention has always to be poised in one's inner self. That inner self is the awareness. That's a thoughtless state. But if you are using thought as an instrument to see inside, you will never get it. You got to have an intuitive grasp. That's not even emotion, Christina.
Tell me.
That's not even emotion. That's not an intellectual thought. That is the sense of life.
I love that.
Catch that?
I love
Then
that. I feel that.
see, otherwise, you see, the thing is, we go on talking about things, we're trying to communicate through thought. Everybody also using thought to do that. But you got to suspend thought, still the thought. See, this is the basis of the ancient says the awareness-based systems. That's why people who really grasp that really knows it's not things out there, it is how you perceive things like that. So once you go beyond that thought or mind, and then you're still there, be still and know your God. The God is that life force, that is the awareness.
You know what? Let's pause here for a second because this just came through. It's interesting, right? Because our society is big on mindset, but you're actually just repeating more of the same of just using the mind. We are not using the proper verbiage. There should be some
Yeah.
sort of integrative piece about, yeah,
To understand, you use the mind. That's no problem. But you got to go.
yeah, through the mind. I
See,
like that.
that's transcending is not suppressing mind or suppressing thought, but understand the limitation. So that's what happens is, see, our difficulty is we have wonderful tool of thought. It has the memory, it has the imagination or looking into the future. But when you come to subjective life sense, that has a tool of thought. How can you use the tool of thought to really know yourself? Because that is your product, not you.
So good. And it's interesting because when I think about that, our thoughts, they're on overdrive.
Yeah.
They're taking over. They should be operating 25%, not
That is 100 or 200% sometimes.
true.
That's the difficulty because that's why I'm saying maybe experiment with this. You yourself, don't think. Experiment with this. I'm going to look at thought as an outsider and then let me go do everything that I need to go out somewhere, I need to arrange my house, I need to do whatever the external things that are not subject to sense. Qualia.
So I need you to pause there because I think if I just want to follow it so other people can follow it as well. So
No,
when
no,
you
you're
say,
following with the thought. Don't do that. Grasp it.
but I'm trying, you're saying thought as an outsider.
Outsider.
What is that? So
That
just
means
feel
I
it?
can, you see, I'm brought up on used thought, land medicine thought, everything outside thing I want to do is with a thought. That's fine. But when I turn the thought to study myself, I am bringing something outside to study myself, which is subjective feeling is inside.
Right.
So that is where the mistake we make.
So
See,
give me an example of
well,
that.
like I said, scientific study I do, I gather 100 patients.
I'll come back because I want to understand this because Dr. Rao is extremely wise. Come back, Dr. Rao. You have to explain. Extremely wise around stepping out. After I do that thing at sleep, it has changed things for me. So I'll explain that after. Dr. Rao. So observing
No,
your thoughts, but you really should be feeling it.
that is so I'm doing a scientific study of a meta-analysis of 100 diabetics where I will follow all the data. Will say, is the diet is bad, exercise is bad, what is going on? This man is subjecting himself to a lot of stress and all that. Then if I use this regimen and it worked better compared to other people who did not use the regimen. Then I have a conclusion based on thoughtful observation of data. I use that as a cure. Okay, this is working better, so I'm going to do this. But then I may replace that if I find something else working better. That's what we do in the medicine. We're constantly looking for answers. We're trying to understand what is working, how it is working, what can we incorporate here, technology, new findings in some other field, bring it here, that kind of thing. All that is with my mind going out. That's a good use. But
Yeah.
when it comes to human beings who are emotional, intuitive beings,
Yes.
so you cannot bring mechanical thought to assess me. Feel what I feel. I'm friendly with Christina. That friendship is a feeling that I have. I may have friendship, I may have affection, I may have love, and all that because between two friends that can happen. But that's a feeling, that is an intuitive thing I can feel.
Right.
So what it is we don't go to that being that is a qualia with a thought. We go to with a feeling realization.
Well, isn't this interesting? So let me walk through this with you. So when I do retreat space, we work with feelings all the time. We work with intuition and we do a lot of healing in that space because we're not doing thought. I never really thought about it that way before, but we don't use thought. We use intuition, we use painting, different modalities to access, and it really works and it expedites it because we're not using the mind work, right, to try and heal emotional wounds or whatever it is, or to tap into yourself. I think that makes sense to me.
The thing is, whatever we say, we are going to use the thought here, and that's where we kind of get into the wrong thing. So I was watching a cricket match, that's why it is coming.
I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Cricket match, and I like cricket, right? England and India are playing. It's almost over now, so I shut it off. So I enjoy my life. I have contrary to people think I'm very serious, very deep. I have a lot of fun.
You can see
Things
that.
I do, even if I come here, when I'm saying to somebody, it's only out of love and compassion, not because that ego is gone. Such a relief. So what it is even the modern quantum physics also explains the qualia much better because quantum sees us as energy. That energy you cannot explain away with thought. You feel the energy, right? You work with the energy. You are with energy. Even emotional things can happen when the energy is kind of that way or this way. You can be very high when you are happy and pleasure and all that, and you can have very low because you are thinking negatively. Thinking, and that leads to negative feeling and all. So what I'm saying is, don't use mind when you turn inward. Don't use the thought, mindset, whatever. It's all just but nothing but the mechanical thought.
It's what,
Describing, observing, and judging, analyzing.
yeah,
That's all
so
thought.
true. It's
What it
actually
is,
very powerful.
I told several times, this is because you remember that French philosopher, Descartes, he said, I think, therefore I am. But now you want to understand, is he stopped one step short of human beings. I am a being, therefore I am.
But what if you said, I am, therefore I do? It's very powerful. And it's got me thinking. But if you, because really we should be starting from I am, not I think, therefore I am. So if you did I am, therefore I do.
I am is more than I think.
I am is from a place of being. It's a state of being. So that's what I'm saying.
That being has not thoughts having the being. But what the modern things happened is, oh, because I'm thinking this, what I am. Fundamental mistake made by the modern civilization. But we are still stuck on that. See, that is he's not a bad guy. He's a very good guy, actually, Descartes. He wanted to establish himself, so he can deny everything. But the thinking is happening. That's what. But the thinking is happening to your being. See, you sleep, right? You sleep, right? When you sleep quietly, there is no this activity going on. That's when you say, I am deeply sleeping. That same thing, when it's there, I can go through the day. But when I want to use the thought, I can project it and use and come back. I'm talking to my friend Kristina, something I'm trying to communicate with her. And then once she gets it, that's it. I don't have to go on thinking about it. Oh, I did this, none of it. So my state is silent and still through the day, but use intentionally thought and outward expression and all that. And intentionally stop. That's what I do. So lightness of being, such a relief.
I'm just sitting here. I'm
Don't think.
no,
Feel.
I trust
Yeah,
me. I had to learn
to feel and intuitively
Yes.
grasp it.
It's the art of doing without doing. It's
Doing here is grasping the feel of it, life energy. Otherwise, it will be going turn into talk, into everything going on. So test is this for us. When I get up in the morning, is my mind clear, not jumping into thought right away, and can stay in that awareness of thoughtless, just absorb everything. I enjoy the color, the light and everything, but I don't have to describe. I don't have to judge anything, but I can stay in that awareness. Then continue that through the day. I'm having a talk with my friend. I give everything to it. No expectation, no assessment. That is the problem with modern people. What they are doing is, whatever they do, they want to get something out of it. Why? Because you feel empty inside, then you want to get something outside. But when you are full, do you put a hand out? Now, your cup is full. That is what the awareness does. That is what the establishing yourself in your inner being.
Totally agree. And I like that. I think that's a good exercise for everyone listening.
No, that's the ultimate goal for us as human beings, because we forgot who we are.
No, but that's why we do what we do, Dr. Rao. That's why we're having these conversations.
The evolution of the civilization, where turn took from enjoying the inner riches to we turn to outer things. We think those things we've done, then we are happy. But actually, everybody feels when we are really watching a child laugh or play, or when you see a puppy jumping cutely and all that. Do you have anything coming out? No, just being in reception of that joy that they are going through, that itself is joy for you. But if you think, the cub should be doing that, you should sit down and keep quiet. The children should not shout and all that. You lost it.
Well,
so it's as simple as that.
Yes, I agree.
It's as simple as that. You see what other problem is? I told many people here too. Don't talk. Stop and look inside.
That's the goal.
They say, I am so intellectually prowess. I can be glib about it.
So Dr. Rao has shared definitely insights. Dr. Rao always ends up, we connect at the tail end of my show, always around the idea of inner work and trusting yourself and loving the being of who you are. And this is definitely completely in line with everything that we are doing. It's about understanding that we don't need to look for our happiness, our joy, our fulfillment outside of us. We just need to learn how to trust ourselves and unlayer some of the stuff or the stories that we've told ourselves about who we're supposed to be. And when we do that, we learn to show up differently in our lives. And we've all had situations where we've had to trust when we don't see. I can say that even when I left my corporate career to pursue coaching and leadership development, I was terrified. I didn't know what it was going to look like. But deep down, I knew it was time to align with my purpose. I trusted myself. The leap of faith carried everything. And when I did, it brought me to you sitting here right now. And there isn't anything more powerful. So when Dr. Rao says, when you wake up, ask yourself, is your cup full? How do you feel? I feel full that I can spend time with you guys once a week, well, 3 times a week, and just be able to really help others understand there's another way. You don't need to keep looking for other people to tell you who you are. So I will say this. Today we've talked about listening to your inner voice, being in tune to your feelings. And in order to get better at it, you may want to consider meditation, journaling. Find a place that is quiet for you. And I love that it came through for me like this today. And listen to the whispers, the waves that come through. When you hear it, do not dismiss it. That is your soul speaking. That's your intuition. It's the being. It's something so much bigger than you could have even imagined. At this point, you don't even know how incredible you are or what the next chapters of your life are going to look like if you start opening this door and you start tapping into our being, the essence of who you are. Wow. How exciting is that? And I would challenge you guys to think about this. Acknowledge your past wins of when you've trusted yourself and things went really well. Maybe it was avoiding a situation. Maybe you followed your intuition and it brought you to meeting your husband or meeting a great friend. Or we need to honor that because there's learning in those situations when we acknowledge the wins where we trusted ourselves and how it led to positive outcomes. The more we can do it, the better it becomes a muscle that you just keep going. Also, when we learn from situations where we didn't listen to ourselves, and my favorite quote, I know I've told you guys many times, you'll hear it from me all the time, a mistake is always repeated until a lesson is learned. So what was the lesson? What did you learn? How will you listen to yourself next time? Is it worth trusting yourself? It does not mean that you have to be perfect. It means that you have to be resilient. It means that you have to be able to pick yourself up when you feel like you don't want to. Pick yourself, get back on the bike. Don't sit there and get stuck in it. And if you need to hear my voice, whatever it is, just hear me say, just get up. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you have it. I always say, for me in particular, my inside voice, I always hear this: dig deep when it's hard. My husband this week on Monday was in heart surgery, and I had to dig deep to look past it so I could be here today. And guess what? I trusted, and he's great. He's in a new space. But this is a part of it. It's not just talk. It's trusting into something so much bigger. And when we know how this is a moment where I got to be resilient, I got to dig deep in order to get through to the other side. But when you trust yourself, you're going to be okay, regardless of how the pieces fall and what is meant for you. Also, the more we can learn how to set boundaries and trusting ourselves about who's good, people, places, things, who's good, what's not. Your inner being, your soul, your essence, whatever you want to call it, knows. But try to start to listen to it this week. And you'll be able to see. Have you ever been in a situation where you've gone into a room and something feels off with the energy? Something just feels off. The person feels off. It's just not jiving. And if you have that, then listen to it because it's there for a reason. Don't dismiss it. Don't start asking other people about it. Listen to what your inner voice is telling you. Because when we trust ourselves, it gets stronger and stronger. And I want you to celebrate your authenticity, celebrate who you are. I'm celebrating you because you're awesome. In this moment, you're awesome. Doesn't matter what that looks like, you are awesome. And when we are doing more work into this work, right, with the work that I do on my show about getting people into alignment, then real action and power starts to happen. then you start to tap into inner truth, wisdom that is so much deeper than you could ever imagine. The self-trust that you will feel will make you do big things in your life. Things where you thought, I can't open a shop. I can't start my own business. I can't lose 30 pounds. Yes, you can. So this alignment piece of trusting yourself is fundamental for you to get where you want to go. And I know you can do it. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that it's yours. But we have to be in alignment. We have to trust in who we are in order to get it. It's already there. It already exists. Oh, Laura, how's it going? Laura. Oh, hey, how's it going?
Good. I thought I'd come up and say
Hi. So, what are your thoughts on trusting yourself?
it's a tough subject for me. I'm still trying to figure out about trusting myself because I've been trained and programmed to trust God and the church leaders, and I don't think there's something wrong with that, other than I probably did more than trust sometimes. Some church leaders who turned out to not live up to the pedestal where I put them. I raised them. And then others did, and they were great role models. But trusting myself, I'm trying to think, finding my inner compass, unlocking it, growth and gift. Trusting myself, it's hard in certain ways, but I've definitely gained to the point, to the extent that trusting myself means having confidence in myself. I've definitely gained confidence in the past few years in my skills, in my training, in my abilities to deal with certain issues. I've become more resilient. I've become more authentic. And especially since Noom Vibe in March last year, I've been growing leaps and bounds with trusting myself, loving myself, caring for myself, making my health a priority. It's a process that I've started a long time ago, but certain results came but sooner. And the one part where I'm learning to eat healthy and not feel the cravings in the strong ways that I do for like sugar is still a huge struggle for me. The biggest that I got left, I would say, and probably the one that's been the most cunning and baffling since I was little. And I recognize sweets were a way to survive in times when there was a lot of emotional turmoil or stress of any kind. But it's no longer serving me, and it's taking longer than I really want to in order to feel like I got that part under control. And I really don't trust myself with sugar. So I have to avoid those triggers as much as I can. But do I trust myself with a class full of children with autism, intellectual disabilities? Do I trust myself in helping my mom learn at 70, 80 years old things she could never learn her whole life that kept her in that neurotic mindset? Do I trust myself with, let's say, enjoying a workout, which took more than 1 year to get to the point of enjoying running or enjoying even going to the gym? Because once I got into the workout, I would enjoy it, but it took 20 minutes to 30 minutes for the endorphins to kick in, the caffeine, the medication for ADD to kick in or whatnot. And so I was just dragging my butt to the gym or not wanting to go there. And I'm like, how long is it going to take to get to the enjoyment phase? Because I'm dying over here. I'm waking up early and it's hard and I just want to roll over. So do I trust myself now with the gym? Yes, but I didn't a year ago or a few months ago. Do I trust myself with organizing my fundraiser birthday party, annual one, in September to the dots and what's the expression, the dots and the T's or T's and I's, whatever.
Cross your T's and dot your I's.
Good. So I'm doing better and better every day. So I trust myself with that. I trust myself to improve every day. I don't even have to force myself to try to improve. It comes naturally. But definitely the one part is that sugar and that food plan and that meal plan and learning how to cook home meals. And so I am doing better, but it's still.
Well, Laura, I think you make a really good point for everyone to hear, it's a process. You don't just wake up one day. Think about it. If you had 40 years of believing that you need other people to help you and do this or whatever, it's a process. I love that you said that from last year to this year, you've grown quite a bit. This community is amazing for that because, like I said, you walk away with certain nuggets, you start working on things, and you start believing in yourself differently. I would say that this is a part of the journey of trusting yourself. Take it day by day, but know that there's another way. Where some of us are just further ahead to go, hey, you don't need to buy into the old way of doing things. And I love the fact that what you shared, Laura, is that you understand that you can trust yourself with students and kids and your mom, but you have a hard time with sugar. That's like me too, right? But I love that because the awareness is so powerful. That's a part of the step. That's a part of the journey. Right now we're talking about sugar, but it could be anything that we're talking about. When we bring things from the subconscious to the conscious and go, I struggle with this, then you have a choice. Do I bury it and go into old habits, or do I try my best to try and navigate and change it a little bit every day? Celebrate little wins every day. And if you can do that, then that is absolutely amazing. So thank you for that share, Laura. I think it's really important for everyone to understand that it is a journey. The power of trusting yourself. Some of us are just at different points, but we are all learning from each other. And when we understand that, you sharing that's going to resonate with other people in the audience to be like, yeah, I get that. I understand how she's feeling. I understand it too. But now I'm at a point where I'm probably really in this space of trusting myself, listening to my intuition. It just gets stronger and stronger. And it was really interesting because Dr. Rao came up. I'm not too sure if you guys heard him, but he was talking about how the mind tends to take over. That's the thinking of who you're supposed to be, thinking mindset. Oh, I have to do this. What we're trying to do here is to step you into I am, the power of who you are. So the being part of it. So I really like this. I just get it. I am, therefore I do. So if you come from a place of I am, therefore I do, you're going to come very differently. I think, therefore I am is very different than I am, therefore I do. I don't know if that resonates with you. So if I am happy, then I will do things that are happy. If I am sad, then I will do things that are sad. You guys get it? So I'm actually going to write this one out because it came through in the discussion that it hit me. I am, therefore I do. So be very mindful of the state of being that you are in so you can show up and you can do things, whatever that may be. And then we could bring it to the next level, but we'll do this on a different talk. Then that brings on our manifestation, our dreams, what exactly we are desiring. We can bring all that stuff in. But today, the power of trusting yourself, I want you to seek alignment, really celebrate the little wins where you've done well with trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, knowing that you can do it. It's extremely powerful. So for those who know, my show is coming to an end. I got to do an extra half hour, but this is how I like to close out my shows. I like to close out with a mantra that's related to the show topic. I want you to sit back, repeat it with me. We do it 3 times, and then I pour into you. So are you guys ready? Are you ready to hear this out? Here it is. I trust myself completely. Just heard you guys say it. Here, let's just start again. I trust myself completely. My inner wisdom guides me. I'm always on the right path. I like that. We're going to do it 2 more times. I trust myself completely. My inner wisdom guides me, and I'm always on the right path. Nice. 1 more time. I trust myself completely. My inner wisdom guides me, and I'm always on the right path. Guys, get ready. I'm pouring in. Get ready. Sit tight and just feel this. You trust yourself completely. Your inner wisdom guides you, and you are always on the right path. All right. Thank you so much for being here today. Sending you much love, and I will be back on Wednesday. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Take care.